Hi, welcome back to Broker Brains.
I'm Andy Costello, owner of Venture Commercial Real Estate.
I am Shanna O'Brien at Cascadia Northwest, and today we wanted to talk about keeping yourself safe when you're out in the field as a real estate agent.
And today's topic's geared mostly towards women, but obviously it applies to men too. The safety suggestions we have are really good ideas for anybody in the business that's out in the field by themselves.
So we have 4 things we're going to cover. One is make sure you tell somebody where you're going. Always share where you're going to be and send a pin, drop a pin, let somebody know your exact physical location.
And if you're also not feeling safe, one of our ideas is to go with someone. And then, of course, follow your intuition. None of this matters if your gut is telling you, or all of this won't matter if your gut is telling you maybe you shouldn't meet with this person.
Yeah, if somebody seems creepy, they're probably a creep.
100%. So let's talk a little bit more about each of those in depth.
So first of all, telling somebody where you're going. I've seen people do this like a whole number of ways. I mean, some brokerages even have policy in place where if you're doing a showing, you have to notify the office where you're going to be, which is not a bad policy.
Yeah.
I can't hire somebody to manage that.
Yes, I was going to say, it sounds like a management nightmare.
Yes, but yeah, so make sure you let somebody know, even if it's another agent, just like, hey, going to show a house to Joe Blow, here's his phone number, and I'm meeting him at 123 4th Avenue.
Right.
Sharing make sure somebody knows. Yeah, make sure somebody knows where you're going, who you're going with.
Right. And then in addition to that, telling them is maybe also sending a pin drop.
Yes.
Because, now whether you have Samsung, iPhone, you can do it in Google Maps, Apple Maps, share your location. There's so many ways to let somebody know exactly, well, at least where your phone is, maybe not where you are, but where your phone is. So, they don't have to worry that, you can set it to just turn on for an hour or something like that. So people know where you are.
Yeah. I mean, just strengthen numbers. You don't want to be just the only person who knows what you're doing today.
Right.
Another thing that you can do before going out to meet somebody, we were talking about trusting your intuition. You can also background check somebody a little bit. I mean, you can background check them a lot if you want to pay for some services because it's the internet and we can find out anything about anybody now. But we're in the Vancouver, Washington market, and our local association, Clark County Association of Realtors, provides a tool called Forewarn. And so you can kind of get a little background check on the person you're meeting just to make sure that they are who they say they are. Like that phone number is associated with that person and they're a real person. So trust your intuition and maybe make sure that you're vetting them a little bit. And even if you vet somebody, if they gave you the creepy vibe, don't go meet them alone.
Well, I think one of the things, I have a really good spidey sense. I had a coworker tell me that I can really tell whether somebody's legit because when I'm talking to you on the phone and you're behaving not how other clients behave or other callers behave, that is always a red flag because generally people are asking the same questions or, there's kind of a flow of how a conversation is going to go. And when you kind of start doing some weird things, I'm like, well, you're not feeling really legitimate. We had a client down in Malala. We were selling his property and it took us a while to figure, it was very clear he didn't like me. He was very misogynistic and it was very clear he did not like women. And his money still spent really good when we sold his property. So I didn't really care. But my business partner and I never went to meet with him by myself. I either took my business partner went with me or somebody else from the office went with me. And we figured out he drank in the morning. And so in the afternoon, he was really belligerent. And so I would never meet with that seller by myself because it was just like, that's not normal behavior, right? Like to be overt, like I don't like women and I don't want to do business with you, but you're still doing business with me. I didn't understand that. But again, his check cleared. And so that was great. But so you want to like your intuition. If it's like having some red flags, this is a weird thing they're asking me to do. It's like, oh, let's get on to WhatsApp. Let's like things that people don't normally do. Is very bizarre. Now, I know in your industry, I think people are encouraged to maybe meet at a Starbucks or meet at your office for like a buyer consult.
Have a consultation and get to know each other a little bit. And if you can do that, that's fantastic. But the reality is sometimes you're just going to get the phone call saying, I am buying and I want to see this property. And you're going to be hungry enough for a deal that you're going to say, and I will meet you there and show it.
Yes, exactly.
It's going to happen no matter how many precautions you try to put in place. you need to have that plan of, okay, I am going to go meet with somebody. Here,
Mhm.
at least I can put these in place. I'll make sure somebody knows where I am. I'll make sure I vet him through Forewarn. I'll
Mhm.
take somebody from my office with me. I'll take my kid with me.
Mhm.
I'll take my husband with
Yeah.
me. I mean, just anybody,
Mhm.
even if they're just going to wait in the car. It
Right.
doesn't, it doesn't have to be a professional coworker that you can go and introduce. They could just come hang out in the car.
Right, right. I totally agree. Fortunately, in commercial, 90% of the time, the other broker's representative is there. So unless we're, doing dual agency, then,
Yeah.
that's maybe when there's something that comes up. But, by and large, if I'm showing a leased space or something like that, where I have a buyer and we're going to go look at a listing that's not mine, the other brokers there, very rarely in commercial do we have lock boxes. So there's always, strength
Right.
in numbers there too. But
And
still
you're
gotta be
you're
cautious.
meeting at commercial properties as
Mhm.
opposed to somebody's house.
Correct, right.
Yeah.
We're not as rural generally, but there are rural commercial properties that I've
Yeah.
been to that, if I haven't met them, again, I follow my gut a lot because it never steers me wrong.
So if somebody named Jason wanted to meet you at an abandoned summer camp on a lake that's for sale.
This sounds really, really specific. Well, first I would get have a lot of conversation with them about, where's your money coming from?
Yeah.
Get as much information as possible. And, if there was a listing agent, generally, again, in commercial, I'm not there by myself. So the other agent would be there. And, there are some,
Yeah.
most of the time I would feel comfortable with that. Or if not, I would ask my business partner to go.
Yeah.
He is a man. Or I would say, please come with me. Because, my safety, his safety, our safety is number one, right?
Yeah.
I mean, serving our clients is important, but if you're not safe, then nothing else matters. So.
And I don't watch enough horror movies to know if I got that right. Because is the summer camp one Jason or Michael Myers?
I honestly,
I don't
have
know.
no idea.
I've
also not a sci-fi.
I might have not. My joke might not land.
Yeah. So yeah, I think at the end of the day, going home safe. That's the paramount.
And trusting your intuition is something that as women we've been trained out of. Like, if somebody is creepy, you're still supposed to be polite to him.
Oh, I don't
hurt a man's feelings.
Yeah.
So yeah, don't throw all of that away. All of those social conventions of you're not allowed to question somebody's intentions. You're supposed to just be there, to provide that ultimate customer service, not at the risk of your own safety, though.
Yeah. And I mean, at the end of the day, this is a business, it's a job, and you're working hard, but it's your safety is number one. And, there's lots of ways that you can navigate maybe a situation that you're not really sure on how that's going to work.
So recap, you're out in the field, tell somebody where you're going, drop a pin.
Have somebody go with you.
And
then trust your gut.
The whole time.
The whole time. And if at any time that turns, having that phone and making sure you're either getting yourself out of there, calling 911, just making sure that you go home in one piece.
All right. Well, we would love to hear your ideas for staying safe out in the field. I know a lot of agents concealed carry. I know people have bear spray in their car. So what are you doing to keep yourself safe as you're showing homes and commercial properties?
Yeah, thank you so much for watching this week. We really appreciate your time. We know it's valuable. So take care of yourself. And if you can, someone else too. We'll see you next week.
Thank you.
Bye.